Hey, what's up YouTube? It's Party Man. Welcome. Ever since this new update for Season 5 Call of Duty, a few things have changed with Secure Boot and the other thing that's going on. And I guess DS4 Windows does not work, which I don't think anyone should have been using to begin with. But if you want to still overclock your controller and have good settings for PC, which I'm about to go back to, I'm going to go ahead and make this video showing you how to overclock your controller on PC, how to get the best settings for Call of Duty on your PC. Alright, let's dive into it. So we'll go over the overclocking real quick. So Battle Beaver Customs, if you look up overclocking on their website, you're going to come to this page. This is what I've been using for a few years now to overclock my controller. I think I run it at 2000 hertz. We'll find out when I go in. I haven't looked at it in a very long time. And this is a signed program. The CDL uses it. All pros use this on controller, basically. They don't use DS4 Windows. They use this. And so when you download this, you're going to have to extract the folder, and this is what it's going to look like. You're going to open up this. Click on the HID USBF master, and then in order to enable the overclock, you open up the top folder, HID USBF. HID USBFN uninstalls the overclock. So click this, then go to click on driver, and then run setup. Click yes, bam. You're going to go ahead and do all. And I'm using the PlayStation 5 controller. It's not showing up here, which is interesting, so I need to overclock it. I guess it's a good idea to check to see if your device is overclocked. And so it's going to be this one right here, headset, microphone, DualSense, wireless controller. It's not on, so you click it, then you go to the polling rate you want. 8,000 I think is too much for the controller. I think it defaults at like 500. 8,000 gives me issues, but you can try. Like I'd say a safe bet's 1,000 to 4,000. I think I was doing 2,000, so I'm gonna click 2,000, and then you hit install service, open, bam. And then it's not filtered on the device yet, so you click it, you click filter on device. I don't care that it can't verify it. Let's see if it works. Okay, and then install service, bam. Alright, so now it should be on the device. I'm not sure why I got that error, and it worked perfectly fine. Close out of it. Then to see if it's, and then also whatever USB port your controller is plugged into, that's the USB port it's going to stay overclocked in. So if you change USBs, you might have to check this again. I feel like I should have checked this sooner, because I didn't realize that my shit was messed up. Alright, so I'm just checking one more time. Yep, there it is. So it's filtered on the device. The rate's 2,000. Bam. Perfect. And then you could check it every once in a while. I would, because I didn't realize mine undid it. I don't know what caused that. Alright, so on to the next part, we'll go into the in-game settings. Alright, welcome to the settings. Let's click on the screen, make sure the controller's working. Alright, so make sure you're in the multiplayer where you're going to go find a match, and then scroll over to your settings. Then we'll start with account and network. Just make sure. Let's see. You're going to turn dismemberment and gore effects off. This is going to give you a little bit higher frame rates and less stutter. So that's the first setting you want to mess with. This is a lot more in depth than on console. This is what I have for telemetry. I do FPS counter, server latency, packet loss on. Everything else is telemetry label size default, in-game alerts on, network alerts on. Sometimes if you're lagging out, like your router's messed up, it'll let you know it was your router instead of just the server. Let's see. Next one, we're going to go to readability and global color customization. This is what I use. You can do this however you want, but the important one is color filter 2, and then target both the world color intensity and interface color intensity at 100 and 100. This is going to give you your best color so that you can see some of the skins that kind of suck that blend in with the environment. It kind of makes them pop a little more. Multiplayer HUD presets, I just do standard. HUD bounds, you knock it in so that your mini-map can be to the top left corner. It comes a little closer to the center of the screen. Some people play like how I do, like this, or they'll have the top one up, and I mean, that's just personal preference. I've been playing like this forever, so I leave it like this. You're going to want square, you're going to want the mini-map rotation on. Square is going to give you the edge, the most amount of map coverage. Horizontal is what I use. You can do the other one. Now this one's a kind of an important one, the crosshair. You want it to be static so it's not bouncing all over the place. And you want to have the crosshair dot set to on. And I like larger on PC. And then I leave crosshair spread on, crosshair opacity 100%. Alright, so I think that was everything in interface. We'll go to audio. So I use SteelSeries GG, and I use I'll show this at the end of the video as a bonus, because now we're on PC. You don't really need a device. You just need to plug it into the microphone in and speaker out port for your headset. So I'll go a little in depth on that. So right now it's my gaming one. Enhanced headphone mode is on. Enhanced headphone mode configuration, it's default. I never touched it. Audio mix sucker punch, that's off, off, off. Frequency I leave alone. This is when you want to change, turn reduce tinnitus sound to on. That's the high ringing sound from grenades and stuns. This is going to be your personal preference on the voice chat. Alright, let's go to the display graphics. So this one's going to be different for pretty much everyone, depending what type of monitor you have. So ideally you want the full screen exclusive, but I'm running full screen borderless because I'm using a capture program and I want to be able to scroll over to it. So full screen exclusive is what you want. Make sure you're on the right monitor, make sure you have the right graphics card. My refresh rate's set to auto, and my default monitor resolution. Aspect ratio automatic. The restart pre-shaders loading, when we're at the very end of this, we're going to restart shaders, we're going to back out of the game, and then we're going to come back in, so that's something to remember where that is. The brightness I leave at default, and I use my monitor. The on and plus boost, that deserves its own video, honestly, so I'll do that at the end as well. So I'm going to do sound, this at the end. I do eco mode preset efficiency. You don't want it to be using your graphics as much as possible. My monitor allows VSync, but I don't use VSync while I'm playing. It causes some input delay, and I don't really have any stuttering while I'm playing with these settings. But I do VSync the menu so it stays at a lower rate. It seems like it does. Reduce render resolution optimal. It's going to put less strain on your hardware. HDR always off unless you're on a TV or something, which that's crazy. Dynamic resolution off. Your render resolution should be at 100. This one's a big one. It's going to make your game look a lot better. So Fidelity FX Cast, strength 100%. DLSS frame generation off because it adds input delay. Now if you have AMD or Nvidia older card and you're getting really low frames, then turning this on will probably help you out. But for the average user, this is gonna cause an issue with input delay. That's not needed at all. Variable rate shading is gonna be to on. That's gonna allow the game to run at a little bit higher of a frame rate when it's not gonna try and take the stuff in the really far background, like long distances away, and render at the same speed as everything else. It's close, so helps out with your graphics card. I'm able to run texture resolution at normal and get high frames, and that's what a lot of the pros do as well, so that's what I picked. A lot of them also do high, depth of field always off, these always low. I leave blue impacts on, but I don't leave persistent effects on. To me, it doesn't make any sense to have an explosion sit in the map the whole game, where it kind of adds a little bit of drain to your PC, gives you a little less frames. Shader quality at low. On-demand texture streaming minimal. Allocated texture cache size 16. I turn it to off because you don't really need this. This is something that's not needed. Local texture streaming quality low. Shadow quality normal. So this, to me, it seems like it helps you see players a little bit better in the shadows on certain maps, whereas if you had it on low, you might not see them moving around in the shadows. Screen space reflection shadows off. Ambient occlusion off. Screen space reflections off. Static reflection quality low. Tessellation off. Volumetric quality low. Deferred physics quality off. Weather grid volumes off. Water quality off. View, you definitely want to do the motion reduction preset to off. That mode off. Field of view, anywhere from 100 or 95 to 107 is going to be your meta. Most players choose 100, so I just choose 100. It has to do with your how much your aim assist works. It's kind of affected by your FOV. Anything over like 107, you start to lose your aim assist pull. I don't know exactly how it works, but they've done tests and it's a real thing. Because in Warzone, it doesn't affect it as much as everyone runs 120 in Warzone, but on Core COD, they run around this. You want the ADS field of view affected. You don't want it to be independent. You don't want to have it zoom in like on the left hand when you scope in. That'll really, and it also throws off your sensitivity when you do that. Weapon field of view wide. You'll see how it kind of gives you more view of the screen. Really hard to see in those pictures, but it really does. World motion blur 100% off. 100% turn that shit off too. Weapon motion blur. First person camera movement at least 50. Inverted flashbang, personal preference. I leave it normal. Alright, so let's go to controller. I don't really have a good keyboard and mouse settings. I do not play this on keyboard and mouse. I suck keyboard and mouse. So I run tactical flipped. If you have back paddle buttons, running default and using your right analog stick to like punch, and your back right bumper to crouch, and your left bumper to jump, or your left button to jump. That's most ideal. So this isn't the most ideal. I've just been playing like this for a very long time. This should be the lowest sensitivity you use. 1.55 to 1.75 is the average picked, 1.65 being the meta. I play AR mostly, and I feel like 1.65 is a little too much for precise aim at long distance, and that's why I use 1.55. You'll see me taking a lot of long distance shots with an AR. Because we're on PC, you don't have to have the controller vibration on to get any input delay effects. It's dead zone. I do 070 to 99, so anywhere from 60 to 80 on your left stick max is gonna help you out a lot. It helps you reach your max strafe speeds faster, so you get your max rotational aim assist quicker. Aiming, my sensitivity multiplier is all the same, all default. Aiming advanced, this is important. ADS sensitivity transitioning, I do instant. Dynamic is what you want, I leave mine at 1. No custom sensitivity per zoom. Target aim assist on. And then this setting, you need to make sure it's off if it's on. FOV scaling, make sure it's off. So this is gonna be the best settings for like playing search and destroy. Now if you're playing Warzone, tactical sprint assist is probably your best bet, but we don't have plates. You have to, like, pretty much the first person that starts shooting wins the gunfight on Core COD instead of Warzone, so you don't really want that tactical sprint assist. You do want it to kind of feel like the older CODs where you purposefully throw a gun up in the air and give yourself a ridiculous sprint to fire speed and sprint to aim in speed. And so doing sprint assist on, make sure to delay 0, sideways, on. Oops. Yep. That's gonna help you out, and then, but you don't want it to be like tactile sprint assist. We're gonna fix that in another setting. Corner slice is off. You don't need your gun wobbling and changing how it looks. It throws you off. There's no need for it. You don't want it. You don't need to look like a Navy SEAL while you're playing the game. So I turn it to off. Slide dive behavior, I do hybrid. Some people do slide only, so hybrid or slide only. I think I don't dive on accident, and sometimes when I'm trying to dive, it doesn't work. So, but I mean, the dive would have saved my life, so I'd rather just keep it on hybrid. It's the best using the hybrid setting, but I never dive when I don't really want to. I mostly can't dive when I want to. Sprint restores on, slide maintain, sprint on, mantle cancel on, movement advanced. So I do toggle, auto move forward off, auto door peek off, grounded mantle off, and this is that one I was talking about. So single tap run is what you want. This is going to control when you throw your gun up in the air and have a ridiculous sprint aim down sight speed, and when you pull the trigger, sprint to fire speed or run to fire speed. Plunging underwater free, sprint to door bash on. I think all of this stuff is default. This one I just changed because I like grabbing people. That shit's hilarious. I prioritize body shield. Directional buttons, ping mode delay off, short, default. That helps me with pinging people. Sometimes you have to go in here and mess with it yourself just to get the stupid ping to work. This game kind of sucks with that. But live pinging a player is pretty overpowered in the game, so you do want to figure out how to make it so it works for you. Alright, I feel like that's it, so I'll go over the two things that I talked about next. Alright, so I realized I missed a setting in here, so we're going to go back to gameplay HUD. Make sure I click on this to get it to work. Okay. So we're going to go leave it on standard, but then you go over the visuals. Now we're going to go square. It's going to be horizontal on. That's going to be off. And this is, you're going to change from 100 to about 115. So it's going to make the minimap bigger, so it's easier to spot and read while you're playing. So it's easier to see when an enemy shoots where they were at. Your eyes are going to easily go towards it. It's going to help you out a lot with game sense. And then, yeah, just the color. So figured I'd add that part. My bad. Now we'll go to the next one, which is going to be your on plus boost with Nvidia. I'll explain that. Okay, to figure out the on plus boost, which one's going to work best for your PC, it's going to be different for everyone. So you're going to go to your telemetry. You're going to make sure the GPU card time is on and the processor time is on. And then we're going to go into a game. So just load into like a private bot lobby, which I've made videos on that before. Alright, I'll see you in the bot lobby.
The enemy.
Alright, so while you're in the game, you're going to notice at the top of my screen where it says packet loss 0, latency 29, my FPS is on the left. My GPU time at 4 milliseconds and my CPU time at 4 milliseconds and 3 milliseconds, that's exactly what you want. So on plus boost is for me. Now if one was like 4 and one was like 12 or something ridiculous, play with on and then play with on plus boost and see if that you can get them to level out. So the leveler they are, the better it is for your system. It means it's running the most efficiently. So hopefully that helps with the on plus boost. Now let's go into the next thing I talked about, which was the sound, and I will see you there. Alright, dude, this is my sound settings that I use. I use best audio settings for Black Ops 6 with EQ Tool All Platforms by Gadgetry Tech. This is where I got my profiles from. I don't use the stuff up here because that's a little too much for me, but you can really get into it. And this doesn't manipulate game files. There's nothing crazy going on like the Art is War audio cheats that's going to get you banned or shadow banned or whatever because you're hearing people through walls when you shouldn't be. So this is my opinion, the best way to do it. So I click this right here, and then obviously it's gonna bring you to my Steel series, and then that right there, see, it's already been used. But the program you're gonna use is called Steel Series GG. So I'm not gonna save that, and yeah, this is the program. I have the Arctis Nova Pros. I have 2 of them. One for my Xbox, one for my PlayStation setup. And I run a 10-band EQ, which this is a plus. So if you're on the console and you have like a ASTRO or you're using Steel Series GG with like the Arctis Nova Pro, which I don't have the wireless version. I'm actually using a Bear Dynamic headset plugged into the Arctis Nova Pro Game DAC 2.0. This band right here is how I have this set right here, all these settings. That is enough for me. Like, I hear pretty much everything in the game. I hear all the little footsteps. I hear all the little sound cues. So this 10-band EQ is pretty meta, along with my in-game settings. And so this is sonar for your PC. This is what the all the different. This one by phase is actually really nice for Modern Warfare 3, but I also used what's his name? That YouTuber. Why am I retarded? Gadgetry Tech's info. His own little EQ for Modern Warfare 3, which helped out a lot. But yeah, I mean, it's got all the games you could think of, and people make custom ones. There's even one for Black Ops 6 that's already there. Helps out with footsteps. I mean, there's only so much you could do without going into the game files like Art of War does, and pretty much cheating. So this is the best you're gonna get is something like this 10-band EQ that I got. So hopefully that helped. So I'll show the 10-band EQ again on Steel Series. Let's go into my little taskbar. Yeah, right there is your 10-band EQ. Alright, I hope that helped, guys. And again, this is the YouTuber that goes over all the sound settings. I'll show you as a bonus what headset I use, which I love this headset, and I use the Game DAC 2.0. So I use basically this Google. You can usually get them for like $90, and this has an output stream too on the back, which allows me to capture the game sound from my PlayStation, voice chat and whatnot. And then this allows that custom 10-band EQ that I load onto it. So it kind of gives me PC sound, but not really, because the PC does a hell of a lot better with the EQ. And so I use this, and I plug my where I'm pointing my cursor, I plug my headset into there, and this is the headset that I use. This is all just a bonus. So the MMX 330 Pro open back headset, right now it's on sale at $279, so you probably find it pretty cheap on Amazon, but this headset is super nice. It's better than the last headset I was using, which was the Turtle Beach Elite Pro, which they stopped making because everyone wants to go wireless for no good reason at all. And then they also have a closed version. I'm trying to find the website's kind of janky, honestly. Yeah, it's kind of a janky website. But this is the closed back headset. And so if you're stuck in a house that has lots of background noise and stuff, this is what you kind of want. But there is a trade-off between sound quality between an open and a closed back. The open headset is going to sound better, but like I said, if it's too loud in your environment, then you really do need that closed back. No, I'm not able to find it. But yeah, that's what I'm currently using, and it's the way better than anything I've ever used otherwise, like Turtle Beach, Astros, even the A50X. It's the Game DAC and the Dynamic headset is prime. All right, so thanks for coming by. Let me look on my YouTube real quick, and I'll show you some settings, some other videos that might help you out that I had created. If you like my video, subscribe. But yeah, just go to my playlists and like them. It's going to be the best settings. Yes, I need to remove out of there. Like, that was just a rant that I went on. Yeah, super quick, down and dirty on good pick for monitors. Like if you're looking at monitor, like aiming tips, your PS5 Pro settings. I didn't do Xbox. I don't play it on Xbox, but I will do an Xbox for BO7 if I do play it on Xbox. I'm not sure. Yeah, so hopefully you guys enjoyed. Hopefully, if you have any questions or whatnot, please leave the question in the comment. I'll try and get to you. Hopefully this helps.